excuse me, if they go to our homepage, at the top left, the first link next to our logo says virtual meetings.
Okay.
So that's where all the meetings during the first part of the pandemic and now the next few will be housed.
All right. So that's how I can look at follow Monday's meeting.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Thank you.
Well, you just let me know when you want me to start recording. We are broadcasting right now on YouTube, but that's just to get the live connection. We haven't actually started recording the meeting yet.
Okay, I think we'll start recording. Bob said he'll get in as soon as he get his equipment rebooted, but
Okay.
we can start without him. So we're good?
We're good to go.
Okay. I'll call this meeting of the Muhlenberg Township Planning Commission to order. If the members want to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag
To the flag
of the
United States of America,
to the republic for which it stands,
stands,
one nation,
one
under
nation,
God, indivisible, liberty and
liberty and
justice
justice
for
for
all. Okay, just a reminder, as Joey had mentioned, please keep your microphones muted unless you're speaking or called upon. It'll help with the feedback. A couple of notes before we get into the meeting. Number one is in your package on page number 2 is the official notice that was advertised, moving our meeting from a public meeting to a Zoom meeting. So again, that's on page 2 of your package. As Joey mentioned earlier, as of 4 p.m. today, there were no questions or no comments that were offered by the public for tonight's meeting. Welcome back, Bob.
I'm back.
Okay. Next, I'd like to just thank Joe Mensch for pulling this all together for us and being online with us in case we have any technical issues. So thanks, Joe, for doing that.
Thank you very much. I appreciate everyone's willingness to get into the will of technology for our meetings lately. So everyone's doing a great job. We're seasoned pros at this point, I believe.
Yeah, we are. Yeah. Okay, since Frank was unable to join us, I'll go over the secretary's reports. There were 2 letters that were received. One was a letter from System Design Engineering, which was their review letter for Rivercrest Phase 2 subdivision. And that latest letter was dated December the 16th, 2020. And we're also in receipt from a letter from Stackhouse Bensiger Incorporated. That letter is dated December the 15th of 2020. And it was addressed to the Muhlenberg Township Planning Commission and Muhlenberg Township Board of Commissioners. And again, the subject there is Rivercrest Phase 2. And it's a letter that describes the waivers that they are requesting for the Rivercrest Phase 2 plan. So it was those 2 items that the Planning Commission received. Next, we can move on to acceptance of the minutes. The minutes are located in your package pages 3 and 4. It's the minutes of November 18th, 2020. If there are no additions or corrections, if somebody could unmute and make a motion to accept them, I'd appreciate it.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Diane, second. Okay. All in favor, just raise your hand to say aye.
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 Okay, vote's unanimous. Next item is unfinished business, and basically this is the comprehensive plan that we've been working on the last several months. I just wanted to give you an update and make a request. We did or Brian did, receive all of the questions that each of the members put together. And if you recall, the idea here was to develop questions that would allow us, the Planning Commission members, to evaluate how well we did with the 2003 comprehensive plan as far as execution of it. And so we want to identify our successes and we want to identify any opportunities. So first of all, thanks to all the members. I know it's not something we normally do, but I appreciate you taking the time and putting the questions together. I always prefer when we do something like this personally, because I think we own it that way. And then number two, saving the township some money by not bringing a professional consultant in to do an evaluation that I think we can do pretty much by ourselves. So what I'd like to do now that we have the questions, that I'd like to have each of the members do two things for me. Number one, look through all of the questions, and I think they're pages 5 through 13 in your package. And you don't have to do that now, but sometime between now and January the 15th, take a look at each of the questions, not only the ones that you wrote, but the questions the other members wrote, and provide Brian and I any additions that you have. Maybe there's, after you read a question, another question comes to mind, or maybe there's a revision you want to make to one of the members' questions or to your own questions. So this is just an opportunity for all the members to, again, take a look at all the questions submitted by all the members. And, you know, maybe it'll bring to mind another question we ought to ask, or maybe you want to revise a question you submitted. So that's number one, but January 15th. Number two is obviously somebody has to answer the questions. What I would request at this point is many of the members put the name of a company, an individual, an organization that they felt could best answer the question they developed. Take a look at everybody's questions, because each of us have different connections in the community or in the county. Take a look at every question. And if you think of a different organization or a company that would better answer one of the questions developed by another member of the Planning Commission, please submit that to Brian and I. And again, do that by January the 15th. So the goal would be at our next Planning Commission in January, we would have a final list of questions with all the members having an opportunity to review all the questions that were submitted, and a final list of who we're going to send those questions out to. Brian graciously has already sent the questions out to a number of, I'll call them township organizations like Muhlenberg Township Authority, Park and Rec, and he's gotten some responses back already, and they're included in the package. But again, just take a good look at the questions. Make sure there's nothing that we're missing. Brian, is there anything that you'd like to add about that, or?
I don't think so, Walt. I think you hit the nail on the head. As I get feedback, I'll continue to send the questions to the appropriate individuals. You know, a lot of the questions I think can be answered in-house by either some of the administrative staff. The questions that are answered outside, I'll certainly pass them on to the Berks County Planning Commission, to the Redevelopment Authority, and any other entities that we feel are more suited to answer some of our, some of the questions that are submitted. So ship them over and I'll keep incorporating them. As I get answers to each question, what I'll do in that master spreadsheet is I'll highlight them in red and just keep an ongoing, master list for us.
Okay, thanks, Brian. Any of the members have any questions about that? Okay, if not, we'll move on to new business. There's actually 2 action items that we need to take tonight under new business. Both of them deal with the Rivercrest Phase 2 project. And I mentioned in the Secretary's report, there were 2 documents that we received. The first document is in your package. It's the System Design Engineering review of the revised Rivercrest plan. And that letter was dated December 16th. It's pages 24 through 34. And I'll just give you a synopsis, and then Brian, if I missed anything, you can let me know. But just a synopsis, there were two items I believe that Carrie brought up at the last meeting regarding storm water management. One was there was a basin number 2, and if you remember, that is the one that if that basin fills, it would drain onto the access road that goes into Jim Dietrich Park. Carrie had suggested that a level spreader be added to that basin so that there wouldn't be a real defined flow of water across that road going into Jim Dietrich Park. And the developer has added that level spreader to basin number 2. So that has been addressed. The second item, again, that Carrie had brought up, where there were some storm drainage pipes, I believe, that ran from some swales in the rear of the properties to the curb line of the streets. And Carrie suggested that those should be part of the HOA agreement so that it's defined as to who's responsible for those pipes, and that the right of way or easements exist for maintenance of those pipes. That has also been addressed by placing a statement on the plan that those pipes are also part of the HOA's responsibility. So those two things were addressed. The remainder of the letter, if the members had a chance to review there, I'm going to say 95% of the open items from our last meeting have been addressed. There's a couple of other ends but nothing significant that needs to be addressed. So I feel comfortable that the developer has moved ahead with system design, engineering's recommendations, and the township's recommendations, and have addressed all the major ones. I guess what I'd like to do at this time is ask, with respect to the system design review, does anyone have any questions or comments about their review, or any concerns about their review?
Just a general halt, Carrie. There are still some outstanding items listed in the letter. Has there been any discussions between systems design and Stackhouse that Stackhouse is okay with meeting those outstanding items?
Carrie, I did speak with Steve Bensinger, and I think they are 100% comfortable and recognize that they have to satisfy those requirements. Naturally, the recommendation that the planning commission would make would be contingent on them satisfying all items on the review letter. Steve is completely aware that what he has to do, and he's comfortable with that.
Okay, good.
Thanks, Carrie, for that question. Anybody else have any questions? Okay, not hearing any. The second letter I mentioned was the letter, and it's not in your package. This letter actually just came in December the 15th, because it added one additional waiver that wasn't in the original letter that was in your package. But it's a request from Stackhouse Bensinger on behalf of Fiorande Grande, developer of Rivercrest 2, for granting of 11 waivers. And I'll just mention to you that those 11, 6 of them are Saldo subdivision and land development ordinance related, and 5 of them are stormwater maintenance related. And I mentioned to Brian that I was a little bit concerned about the number, because usually we don't see that number of waiver requests for a development. Usually they're handled within the engineering phase. But I will say, reading through the letter, and hopefully each of you had a chance to read through it, all of the things are extremely minor in nature. They're asking for approval to use a larger plan sheet than we recommend by about 4 inches. They're asking for a 36 by 48. We asked for 32 by 48. They're asking for the typical waivers for environmental, community facilities, traffic impact, and utility impact. So that's not unusual to request. Under stormwater management, if you read through those, again, most of them are addressed because of the fact that the stormwater management, a large portion of it is going to be the responsibility of the HOA now. So the steep slopes and things we talked about will not be as big of an issue. The other thing is some of the calculations were just a fraction of a cubic foot per second over what our ordinance requires. So again, just a minor thing. Another one had to do with the size of a berm on one of the detention basins. And they're recommending a smaller berm so that they don't have to remove as many trees along the riverbank, which I think is a positive thing. So I guess in general, I was a little bit concerned, it threw a flag up for me when I see 11 waivers, but when you review them, I believe they're minor in nature, and I would support, and system design has supported recommending to the Board of Commissioners the granting of those waivers.
Walt,
Brian,
it's Frank. Are you able to hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yep.
Okay. Go ahead.
Gotcha. Thanks, Frank.
Yep.
Brian, anything you want to add that I might have missed with respect to those waivers?
No, I think the only thing, the reason we received the revised letter on December 15th from Stackhouse was as a result of SDE's review, they recognized that they forgot one of the waivers for the top of the embankment width. So Stackhouse prepared a new letter and just added that. So that's the only difference between the November 4th waiver letter and the December 15th waiver letter. It added that one request. So that's it. And yeah, I said to Walt, if the board is comfortable, I think the motion would be to recommend the waivers based on the December 15th Stackhouse letter, not the November 4th waiver request letter.
Okay, do any of the members have any questions about that letter, about the waiver request letter, or any of the specific waivers that are being requested? And again, overall, this phase two is obviously less residential lots than was planned previously with the recorded plan, and the stormwater is actually less than would have been created by those additional homes had they been developed. Okay, I'm not hearing any questions. Okay, so then I guess the action that we need to take tonight would be twofold. The first action would be, I would need a motion to recommend to the Board of Commissioners that the Planning Commission recommends that all of the waivers requested in Stackhouse Bensinger Incorporated's letter dated December the 15th, 2020 regarding Rivercrest Phase 2, that we support the granting of all of those waivers. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion. This is Carrie.
I'll
Okay,
second.
Was that Dave? Okay.
Yep.
Okay, any further discussion on the waivers? If not, by a show of hands, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay,
Aye.
Aye.
vote unanimous. Thank you. The next motion we would need then is to make a recommendation to the Board of Commissioners for the Rivercrest Phase 2 subdivision plan as submitted by Stackhouse Bensinger. And the original plan was dated July 31st of 2020. And the last revision to the plan was December the 8th, 2020. And that recommendation would be conditioned upon all of the action items identified in System Design Engineering's letter dated December 16th, 2020 being completed. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion. It's Carrie again.
Okay, thanks, Carrie.
I'll second.
Second. Is that Vanessa?
That's Dave.
Dave, okay, Dave seconded it. Okay, any other discussion on that motion? If not, all signify your approval aye by raising your hand.
Aye.
Okay,
All right.
votes unanimous. All right, is there any other business to be brought before the planning commission this evening? Brian, do you have anything?
I do not, Walt. Only thing I'd like to mention is, we have our reappointment roster, and the individual from the planning commission is Carrie. So that's on the Monday's meeting for, appointments. Carrie, thanks again for doing another couple terms with us.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, if there's nothing else, I want to wish each of the members and the staff, Brian, Joey, a very Merry Christmas and a happy and healthy New Year.
And to you as well.
Hopefully in January we can get together face to face. We'll see as time goes on. Our next meeting is, by the way, January the 20th is the scheduled meeting date.
Okay.
There's nothing else. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion.
Who was that, Dave?
Yep.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 All right, Merry Christmas,
Merry
everyone. Have a
Christmas,
Merry
everybody.
Christmas, everyone.
Merry
Okay.
Christmas. Cheers.
Here's.
Bye-bye.
Everyone, have a good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Aye.